Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Unstoppable Pursuit podcast, where we're pushing the limits in business, life, and health. And today, we're talking about the value of listening. This is episode 16. I'm Brian Benson, and next to me is my brother from another mother, one of those mother truckers that you just want to hang out with, Mr. Michael Stull.
What up, y'all?
And he's going to be reading from Dominate Your Day, his book. It's a great book. It'll get you going. Check it out at michaelstull.com.
Maybe you have been going through some hard times and struggles lately, and it's hard to see the light at the end of the tunnel. Oftentimes we are challenged beyond what we think we're capable of handling, but if there's a will, there's a way. The path of least resistance doesn't always give us the greatest rewards. Keep pushing for that summit because the view will get better and better. Just know and believe that the hard times will pass. They always do. You always come out stronger on the other side. It all makes sense when you look back on it. It's all part of your path. Work hard, keep a positive attitude, and keep that passion within. Nothing is going to fall into your lap. You have to go out and get what it is you want for your life.
Oh, man, I love that. That is where there's a will, there's a way.
Don't give up, people. Don't give up. Keep going.
Up. All right. Well, we're going to talk about the value of listening, and we're getting some of this content, and we just want to give a shout out to John C. Maxwell. I am a John Maxwell certified leadership coach, so I just love his stuff, and I am a servant leader, and I definitely love to learn about leadership, and I'm a student of leadership, so and I know Mike is too, so we just want to give a shout out to him from his book Relationships 101, and we're really going to be talking about the value of listening and really what the point of listening is, and really the point is it would be very hard to have relationships in your life if you didn't listen. So the one quote I do want to start out with is, treat every person as if he or she were the most important person in the world. And I think that can be truer than any time than right now, man. So that's why it's so important. So we're going to talk about the 6 benefits of listening. Mike, I'll read the first, and then you want to go ahead and
you got it, brother.
Rock out. All right.
Let's do it.
The first point is listening shows respect.
I think this is probably the best one, since it's number 1 to begin with, because I think that it shows the person that they're important. And the thing that I want you guys to think of is, think of the last time that you actually had something serious to talk about, or you had to get something off your chest, and you went to say that to that person, and they really didn't. You could tell that they really weren't interested in actually listening to what you had to say. You don't feel respected, and then again your wall goes up right off the bat, and you really don't want to build that relationship with them. So I think that's the key, is that if you don't listen to what people have to say, and you're not in the moment, and you're not showing them that you're truly digesting their words, I don't think it's possible to build a relationship with that person. I just don't. It doesn't show any respect, and I think respect is a huge thing no matter what it is in your life. I think every person wants to feel some sort of respect in some shape or form.
Yeah, I mean, everyone deserves respect, especially right off the bat. And I think, Mike, it really, you have to, the more you can, let's put it this way. Have you ever been hanging out with somebody and you just feel like you just know their mouth is sort of halfway open because they're just waiting for their next thing to say?
Yes, and I'm not friends with them. I mean, seriously.
Exactly. And you sit there and you're talking to them, thinking, but as you're just having a conversation with them, that
they're not digesting it. They're thinking about what they want to say, which shows that they don't give a shit about what you're saying.
Right, and it is a complete lack of respect. And let's just be honest, have some self-awareness, respect people, and listen. Well, I got really hard on that one.
Number 2, listening builds relationships.
I mean, when you first meet somebody, how do you connect with them, right? How do you connect with somebody? Well, you probably find common ground. And the way you do that is by listening. And that builds relationships, because as soon as you hear things that they're interested in, that you're interested in, there's going to be that basis for that relationship to start to grow. And if you can hear them and understand where their values are and their morals are and the things that they want in their lives, you can start building a great foundation for a really good relationship. And I'll tell you, I mean, Mike can probably speak on this too, both newly married, I mean, listening in the relationship is so important.
Oh yeah, and I'm guilty of that too, because I'm still honestly working on my listening skills, and I'm trying to get better and better at that, because there's been times where I haven't been the best listener and it's caused a disconnect or a misunderstanding or whatever. I'm telling you, it's not a good thing if you're not listening. Do your best to try to be in the moment and listen to the best of your ability.
I love that, the disconnect. That's what it can, and that's why connect. If you listen, it will build great relationships to connect. Without that, you will be disconnected, and it'll be very hard for you guys to really build a relationship.
Yeah, and think about it. The last time that someone talked so much about themselves, it was kind of a turnoff probably, and you're like, dude, like, you talk a lot about yourself. Like, so that kind of shows a lack of respect, that they're not interested in what you have to offer and what you bring to the table. So. Yeah,
absolutely. All right, the next point is listening increases knowledge.
The first thing I think of is the quote that when I walk into a room, I don't want to be the smartest person in the room. I also don't, like what you said, I also don't always need to be the one that's talking the most in the room, because I understand that I don't know everything about everything. So I have to be a listener, because there's so much value I can take. Like listening to you, Brian, I take a lot of things and learn a lot of things on personal development in things that you're very, very strong in, that you have invested into your own growth process, and I try to take that and put it into mine. If I'm not listening to you, then I'm not learning. I'm just stuck in my little shell,
I totally agree, and I think that that's why Mike and I, when we came together, we just played off each other so well, because when we do this show, I sit here and listen to Mike, and I feel my brain growing. I know it sounds weird, but I'm like, whoa, like that was really inspiring, and that was like something I didn't know about, and then I can play on more ideas with it and build on it. And I think that we're all in a constant state of learning and gaining more knowledge, and you can't do that if you're just yakking away the whole time.
Right, exactly, 100%, spot on. All right, number 3, listening generates ideas.
Completely, and that's kind of what I just said in a little bit,
right.
So I don't want to get too redundant, but that is exactly what happens when somebody says something. If you're listening correctly, there's a really, really good chance it's going to spark something in you that's going to help you like come to a realization, or some kind of light bulb is going to go off, and you're going to be like, oh, now I get it, and we could do this. I think about some of the more famous people like, Steve Jobs, and some of the really big thinkers, the Elon Musks of the world. It's like these guys questioned status quo, but they had to listen to others. They were great leaders by bringing in others, and then it generated incredible ideas. A family friend of ours, the founder of Best Buy, he brought up how they bring all their employees in at times, and they just whiteboard everything, and just generate ideas. What could be better? How could this grow? It empowers people and builds good relationships, so you have to listen, and it does generate great ideas.
Yep. That's what I think of as this creativity. It gets the creative juices flowing in everybody, and you can really, and maybe you come up like you and I, we've used our whiteboard. We use our whiteboard, and we think of an idea, or maybe we're texting each other, and like by the time we get down to the end of our text, we might have like 20 ideas in there. Now, are all of them going to work? No, probably not. But from some of those ideas, we're able to kind of, piggyback off of each other and listen to each other and get like a different perspective. Like sometimes Brian and I will play devil's advocate with each other and really listen to what each other are saying, so that we can kind of chip away the baggage and kind of narrow down like, well, what is it we really want to do and accomplish.
That's so great, Mike, that you said that, because that just made me think about the recent conversation of where this thing is going, where Mike and I really want to start doing more speaking gigs, and we want to be in front of companies and helping them in some of these things that we talk about, but we weren't sure what we were going to do. Were we going to build this online community? Were we going to do this, where were we going to take the podcast from here? Were we going to do a live podcast? So we were going through all these different ideas, And eventually we kind of came to, hey, we want to be, speaking in front of people, and because we both really enjoy that. So I think that was kind of one of those idea generating like sessions, but it was like a product of you and I listening to each other.
Exactly, right. So hit us up, hire us. We're ready to come and
ready
speak
to go.
to y'all.
You ready to
like
go?
That
Put the
fire
heart
under that ass, baby! Sorry about that. I think I blacked out or something. Sorry.
Popped a blood vessel in my neck. All right. Listening builds loyalty.
I think when you're a good listener, I think it's magnetic. I think obviously, like from the very beginning, it shows respect, it builds that relationship, it helps generate ideas. But I think that there's something magnetic about listening that, again, you're valuing that person, what they're saying, you're taking your time, which is what we talked about, that we can't manage the time, we can only manage ourselves within that time. But if Brian has something to say to me and it's going to take 5 minutes for him to tell me what he has to say, I'm telling Brian, dude, I'm listening to you. These 5 minutes are very important to me, and I'm going to use that to listen to what you have to say. Everyone wants loyalty. If you're stabbing people in the back and you're showing a lack of respect, loyalty will take you a really long way. Some amazing things can come out of loyalty. A lot of good ideas, awesome relationships.
Yeah, I agree. And I think, have you ever been like, sitting on the couch, like texting away, and your spouse or somebody's like talking to you, and you almost feel like, yes, we're
all guilty of that.
Yeah, so, I'll be honest, that is definitely me, so sorry, babe, if you're listening to this. But I think that, that shows, and I really need to do better, and I need to be better at that, but it's something that shows, probably a little lack of just like loyalty of like, hey, look, what are you more loyal to right now? Like me, your spouse who's sitting here in the room, me, your good friend who I'm trying to have a conversation, or are you stuck just jamming on your phone, probably on Facebook or Instagram or something stupid, So you gotta, it does build loyalty for sure.
All right, am I up this time?
Yeah.
Oh. Wow, okay. Listening is a great way to help others and yourself.
This brings me to the Jerry Maguire quote where he says, help me, help you, okay? That's what he's saying. And to help yourself, you need to listen to other people, because if I don't know what Mike truly wants, it's not going to be able to help me. So I need to listen, and then I can help. That's just the way it is, right?
Yeah, and you're not being selfish, by thinking, oh, I'm going to get something from this, but you truly do. Like listening to Brian has helped him, but it's also helped me because, it's helped me look outside the box on things. It's helped me understand different perspectives. It's helped me develop patience, and just seeing things from a different side. So I think that the better listener you are, you're going to grow just as much personally as you are going to help that person. Whatever they're talking about, if it's a bad time or a good time, hey, you're improving yourself and you're building a relationship with somebody else. That's a win-win.
Yeah, couldn't have said it any better, brother. Couldn't have said it any better. All right, we're going to kind of move on now to the 9 ways to develop listening skills. So I think these are very important, so listen up.
Listen. Number 1, look at the speaker.
Look at them. All right. Why do you look at the speaker? Because you know what? I'll tell you a short story. When I was in 6th grade, I can't remember my teacher's name actually, but I remember when she was up there, she was teaching, it was a geography kind of class. We were learning about maps and stuff, and she was up there. And I remember I leaned back in my chair, I looked up, and I let out the biggest yawn really loud. And she stopped the class, pulled me out into the classroom, and just ripped me a new one. And from then on, I was like, you know what? That person is taking a lot of time. They're taking their time. They're putting in their effort to be here for the benefit of me. And I got to show respect, and I have to listen, and I have to look and be engaged with them.
Yeah.
That was it.
And I think it's really important because one thing that I've tried to do personally when I've done speaking engagements in the past is I made it a point, like let's say there's 50 people in the room, like I will take my time, and as I'm speaking, I'll try to look at every single person at some point in time during that speaking engagement, because I think it does show there's some form, like intimacy, you know, like you're connecting with that person, you're kind of building a little relationship with that person amongst this group of 50 people that you're speaking to. So it's very important to look at the person. Like sometimes, you know, for me at first it was awkward when I was with people, and like, you know, I tell them, look them in the eye, but some people are uncomfortable with that. But at the same time, you know, it does show them that you are trying to connect with them in that manner.
Actually, just another really short story on this. I was doing a presentation when I was in the insurance industry, and I was talking to this group of attorneys. We were talking about their disability benefits, and the one attorney sat there and literally, as I was talking and presenting, was like this, just drawing away. And I looked at his paper when I left, and he was sketching like a face and a monkey. Like I was like, really, bro? Like that to me, either I was just a terrible speaker and I was not engaging, so that's a different thing. But you got to show respect no matter what. And look, I was only there for 45 minutes. Give me, you know, a little bit of your time. So that was it.
Right. Totally. All right, number 2.
Wait.
Oh, no, wait. You?
Oh, it's don't interrupt.
That is hilarious. Now, I don't think we planned that, but I don't know what the hell is going on right now. I think we just violated rule number 2. Whose turn is it? Yeah. All right.
Don't interrupt.
Well, hey, and it's funny that it happened that way too, because this is another thing that I'm trying to work on. And I'm trying to work on this in all my relationships, is the fact of not interrupting, because I know it annoys me when people interrupt me and I'm trying to get my point across or my complete thought. And, you know, I need to develop more patience. I need to not be one of those people that, you know, wants to get my point across halfway through someone else speaking. I'm very guilty of that. Again, these things, the reason why it's good that we're talking about this is because Brian and I are trying to work on all this same stuff, you know, just as much as you guys are that are watching or listening. So, I think interrupting, like I just showed Brian a lack of respect right there. You know, like I don't even give a shit about him because I just jumped the gun, you know? So, boom, there you go. Don't interrupt. That's all I got to say about that one.
Well, yeah, I totally agree. And being somebody, you know, I interview people basically for a living, so to me, the best thing you can do sometimes is ask a question and then just shut the hell up and let them talk until they're done, and then move on. That's, you know, interrupting is rude as hell.
Sorry, Brian.
It's not. That was just hilarious.
All right, am I up on this one?
Yes.
All right, number 3, focus on understanding.
You know, how many times do you fake listen to people and not actually hear the words that are being said?
What'd you say?
Exactly. It's that passive listening. It's so important. It's so disrespectful. If you are actually listening, then you will be able to understand what this person is, where this person is coming from. Listen to the context and the content, but sometimes the context is more important than the content, you know?
Yeah.
But that's how you get a good understanding for people, you know?
Yeah, if you're truly listening, then you are understanding. I wrote down on my notes, are you simply hearing them, or are you truly understanding? Because think about how often when you're not truly listening, and then you really forget like what the hell they said, and then you look like an ass when you got to ask them a second or third time. Which again, I'm guilty of that. I really am. But going over this is a good reminder for me that I need to truly Do you understand the words that are coming out of my mouth?
You need the helmet for that.
So that's all I got to say about that.
God. All right. Oh, I love it. Love it. Love it. Love it. All right. Determine the need at the moment.
This one's kind of a difficult one to explain, because, you know, when people are talking, they may have like 5 or 6 points within what they're trying to say to you. And some of those things may not be as important as the others. So I think it's really important it's not like you're going to solve that person's issue like immediately. I think that sometimes you have to maybe you listen and then you have to ask questions back so you can kind of chip away at things and kind of organize a little bit to maybe prioritize like what they are saying so that you can better address their needs like within that conversation. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like if you had like 10 things that you said, well, you know, maybe the third and fourth thing, because I was listening very closely, I realized that those are probably more important to you than some of the other things. And so maybe I can address those first before I get to the other stuff. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and I mean, Mike, you make so many good points. Like, determine the need at the moment is listening to the context. Have you ever walked in like the house and like somebody asks you like, oh, how are things going or whatever, and you're like, well, the job was okay. My wife and I got in a fight, and then my dog got loose, blah blah. And so he goes on all these things. Oh yeah, I had to take my bike here, blah blah. And it's like, if you were listening and understanding the need of the moment, there probably was the wife and him got in a fight, and that was probably their biggest thing. But if you're not listening correctly, then you're probably like, oh, you took your dog for a walk or something?
Oh, damn, bro, should we go change your flat tire on your bike?
Exactly.
Meanwhile, his relationship's in shambles. You know what I mean? It's
exactly.
Like, that's a great point.
So find that need and truly listen to understand.
That's awesome. Number 5, check your emotions.
You got to check yourself before you wreck yourself, I'm telling you.
Because you're bad for your health. I come full stealth.
Oh, sorry. Thought we were going. Anyway, this is self-awareness at its finest, isn't it? It's just like you need to just understand what you're feeling in that moment, and especially when you're sort of listening to other people, like understand their emotions as well. But don't. If somebody says something and you're listening, like, don't let that new conversation trigger the conversation that happened 20 minutes ago, a day before. You're fired up about something, somebody says something, and all of a sudden it triggers something in you. Have new emotions with every new conversation, because it's a new environment, it's a new person, it's something different. So don't let old emotions come up when you're having conversations with people.
Right. Yeah, I think in my book I actually say, like, instead of like reacting like just like that, like take time to listen, and then you can like respond in a more appropriate manner, based off of what's really being said rather than just a whole emotional thing, which can be up or down.
Yeah, exactly. So, all right, this is a really, really good one, and I like it a lot. Suspend your judgment.
It's kind of almost like what I just said before. Like, truly listening, you can't judge someone and then be a good listener at the same time. So step number 1 is to listen. Then step number 2 is to gather your thoughts and respond in an appropriate way according to what they just said. Rather than simply just getting super emotional, reacting just, with the flip of a switch and then saying something stupid or maybe adding more fuel to the fire. But, I don't even think that, like, I'm in a place to judge people. I really don't. Like, I always say that. Like, I'm not here to judge you. That's not my job. Like, I think I should be judging myself before I judge someone else, because I know I'm not perfect. Lord knows I'm not perfect. Lindsay knows I'm not perfect. If you're watching this, she'll probably comment, yes, we all know that. So, I think that you need to have the patience to listen first, and then you can respond in an appropriate manner.
Yeah, no, I 100% agree. I mean, judgment-free zone here at all times, because check your ego at the door, because we're all imperfectly perfect. And I know I say it a lot, but it's just, there's no room to judge.
I love that. All right, so we're nearing the home stretch here. Number 7, sum up at major intervals.
This was difficult for me when I first saw it. I was going,
I know, this is a tough one. This is a tough one.
But I think what it's saying is, after somebody finishes a point or something that they say, before they go on to the next one, kind of in your head, sort of reflect on that first major point. So if a speaker is speaking, listen to that point and then sum that up and understand, okay, I fully understood where this person was coming from. Now when they move on to the next one, you can listen further. Does that make sense?
Yeah, like what comes to my mind is you can even be verbal about it. And let's say Brian said, hey, I went and I uploaded our latest podcast to our YouTube channel. I could even say, all right, cool. So you got the segment uploaded to the podcast. So now what's next?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like, I'm like reconfirming like what you said to show you, dude, I'm listening to you. You know what I'm saying? And that makes the other person feel like they got their point across. So there's no disconnect in the conversation. That's Mike, what I think of when I hear it.
Mike, I think what you said is just so beautiful, and honestly, I just think it's because when you reaffirm or reconfirm, I think, right, what somebody says, it's like they know that you're hearing them. Is exactly right. What you said. It's like, hey, I uploaded the podcast and Mike says that again. That's a really great way to develop a good listening skill because, sometimes it helps to write things down, but sometimes it helps just to speak out loud exactly what you just heard. So when you do repeat it and they go, that is not what I just said, Mike. I didn't say that I'm, going to the bathroom or whatever. Mike's like, oh, sorry, I wasn't listening.
And then if you're a horrible listener, here's a tip for you guys. If you're a really horrible listener and you get stuck in a really bad situation and someone says something, typically I say, wow, that's crazy. That's the best way to cover your tracks until you become a good listener. Is you didn't listen to a damn thing they said. Just wait, pause for a little bit and go, yeah, that's crazy.
Dude, oh my God.
But try not to rely on that, okay? Because the idea here is to become an effective listener, that you don't have to use that. But that's just a joke that we use.
But it's so true, right? Like, people do say stuff like that, and it's like, okay, clearly this person probably didn't hear me. And my wife, she does this all the time, and I'm so guilty of it. And again, that's why Mike and I are in the unstoppable pursuit. We're getting better. But she'll be like talking in the kitchen, and she sees me on my phone, and she'll be like, yeah, I talked to my mom today, blah, blah. Oh, there's a bunch of elephants in the backyard, and blah, blah. And then I'll be like, oh, that's cool. And then I'm like, she goes, what did I just say? And I was like, something about,
that's
and then
crazy.
That's great.
See, no, that's crazy would have been appropriate.
It would have been.
It is crazy, Brian. It is crazy, she would have said. That's a lose-lose for you, okay?
Oh my God, but yes, it's true. Sum it up in major intervals. A big one right there. So, next one is ask questions for clarity.
That's crazy. No, I'm just kidding. This is a good one because, I think that you almost can't ask enough questions. Because, again, when you're asking questions, you're also doing what we just talked about, is you're summing up major intervals. If Brian said, hey, I just saw a rainbow. Oh, you did just see a rainbow? What color was it? You know what I mean? Like, I think that it does sum things up at major intervals. And I think that you become a good reporter and you're able to regurgitate and spit that information back out because you ask questions. Like, sometimes it helps me to remember things when I do ask questions because it's also reconfirming it for me, too. You know what I mean? So... I mean that's the best way I can answer that one.
Yeah, no, I love it, man. I mean, I don't have a lot to say. I would just say if you don't understand something, don't be embarrassed or weird about it. Ask the question and get it clarified.
Yeah, and you're getting more information. It does make you a better listener because you're kind of like a person that keeps following up on things. You're gonna get better and better, and you're gonna know more stuff. You know?
Exactly.
Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, we are down to the last one, and this is probably
intentional. Be intentional about listening. It is a priority. You have to make it a very high priority, and it goes back to that quote: is making everybody feel like he or she is the most important person in the world. Make people a priority, make listening a priority, and make helping yourself a priority, because that's what listening is going to do. It just has to be accountable, be disciplined, and listen.
Yeah, all I have to add to that is that honestly, I think some of the most successful people in the world are very good listeners, and that's because they don't surround themselves, like we said before in previous segments, they don't surround themselves with a bunch of yes people. They surround themselves with a bunch of people that have things to say and things to contribute, and they actually listen to what those people are actually saying, and they develop a game plan from there. So listen.
I mean, it's so important. And the one thing that I wanted to just say about that is I'm reading this book called Ask right now, and it's by Ryan Levesque, and and basically he never builds any online products. He's an online marketer, but he never builds anything without making it a priority to ask and then listen to what his customers want. And I hosted an event last night with the Rocket Lounge and InspireLink, my other company, and the startup gentleman, Jason Dolly, a good friend, said, I asked, where did you get your motivation? How'd you build this product? And he just said, I just listened to my customers and what they really wanted and made it a priority. And now he's growing and revenue positive and just crushing it. But it's because he made listening a priority.
And that's awesome too. Yeah, if you don't listen, you're never going to provide a specific service to meet someone's needs. And in the game of business, it's all about doing things that fill that void and fill that gap for specific people's needs. So again, that's why it's great to have reviews. So rate, comment, and review on our podcast so we can listen to your reviews and we can give you content that you guys want to hear, that you want to watch, and we can better serve your needs, and we can blow this movement up. Hashtag Unstoppable Pursuit, baby.
Yes, baby. Yes. Comment, rate, write a review. Reviews are so important. Tell us what you want to hear. Tell us what you want to talk, what you want us to talk about, where your biggest pain points are. We will serve you. We live to serve. We are here for you. So please, please, please do that. It would be massive for us. So, all right. The next thing is the challenge for the day, and that is ask questions and shut the hell up. That is it right then and there. No, I got a little crazy.
Actually perfect, though.
To be honest with you, I want everybody to, I think in this world that we live in that's so noisy, so crazy, we're all on our phones, we're all on our emails, we're all on our computers. There's a million things, boom, 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 everywhere, right? There's so many distractions. Take a moment for the next person that you see, hang out with, or whatever, to ask a question, to really care about that person, put $1,000 million on their head, care about them, and then just shut up and listen. Just enjoy what they're saying. Learn from them.
There you go.
That's it. Let's get to that health tip.
All right, and the health tip is, lately I've been getting a lot of questions from people of what they can do in the office setting at their desk to work out. Maybe you don't go to the gym or whatever the case is. There's a lot of things that you can do quickly at your desk. Number one would be a squat. Simply sit down and stand up. Sit down and stand up.
I'll demonstrate since Mike worked his legs out yesterday.
I worked out, so I'm really sore. So that's all it is. A squat is sitting up and standing down at your desk. Do that 4 to 5 times a day throughout the day. Do 10 to 15 repetitions. Boom, you just worked every lower major muscle below the waistline. The squat is an excellent exercise. Another one you can do is if you have a wall around you, obviously in the office setting, and you can't do push-ups off the ground, you would do a push-up off the wall.
You can do them on this desk right here.
Yeah, and you could actually do them on the desk if yeah, exactly. So the further your feet are away from the desk, obviously the harder it's going to be. That would be like a modified push-up.
You like this, guys?
Another thing, Brian, calm down.
Oh, sorry.
Another thing.
I'm interrupting you.
No, it's fine. Another good exercise is I asked clients to invest in those resistance bands. They come in a couple different colors which signify what the resistance is. But you can stand up and step on the band right in front of your desk. You can do bicep curls. You can do tricep extensions. You can do lateral raises. You can do front raises for your shoulders. So those are some good exercises. You could also get down right next to your desk and do a plank. Mm-hmm. Everyone knows how to do a plank because obviously planking went viral for some time on social media. And you can also stretch at your desk. Throw your legs one by one up on your desk and stretch your hamstring. You can do calf raises. So there's a lot of different things you can get creative with. A little goes a long way. 10 to 15 repetitions, 3 to 5 times throughout the day, and you will be good to go.
Love it, love it, love it. And sitting, what is it? Sitting is the new smoking, I guess. So get up, get moving at your desk. It is really, really important. So thank you guys for listening. We appreciate you. We love you. We love you, Facebook Live. We love you, podcasters. Thank you. Please subscribe, rate, and review. We would be so grateful. And we will see you all on the next episode.